Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my video. Man, it's like 7:30 right now, and I'm having a rough day. So I'm at the airport. This is the convenient place at the airport, and parked my car. I went in there to get something to eat. Was in there for 30 minutes and came back out, and right now I can't get my car started. Right now, I mean, I haven't been able to get my car started in the last 30 minutes, which kind of really sucks. Dropped somebody off. Went to, I was just hoping to get back home, but man, I'm gonna have a rough night right now, considering I can't get my car started. So I was like, what could it be? Maybe maybe I left my lights on, but I don't think I left my lights on. Even if I did, I was only out there for like 30 minutes. I mean, so I was like, okay, maybe it's the most simple thing that's causing it. So I turned my lights on, went out, and try to see if there's any, try to see how bright the headlights were, and the headlights were like bright. The other thing is, it's a chilly day today, but everything works. I mean, the heat works, the blower motor works. Well, the heat doesn't actually work that well, but the blower motor works. Everything on my dash lights up like it normally does, and my radio works. So I'm like, maybe I left something on. I went out, checked it out, and they were pretty bright. So I must have like tried to turn this on, like, trying to crank it like 10 times, 10, 15 times. I lost count. But, nothing. There's no crank at all. It's like, there's no crank at all. I mean, I do hear like one click. Every time I try to turn it on, I hear a click. Trying to turn it on, I hear a click. So, I'm like, all right, so I didn't know exactly. I couldn't rule the battery out at that point. But I did get somebody to help me jump the car. I had had the cables on the battery for a good 2 minutes before I try to crank it. Nothing. Same situation. Nothing at all. So I mean, at that point, I was thinking to myself, okay, that's the situation. It's not the battery. So now, at that point, I was like, I got really kind of, bummed out because it's not the battery. It's got to be something. It's got to be, something more. It's got to be something bigger, bigger issue. So I'm like, all right, maybe there's something else that could be doing it, causing this to happen. I know it's not the alternator. I mean, right off the bat, I know it's not the alternator because this thing didn't die out on me when I was on the road. It didn't die out on me with my engine running. So normally alternator issues happens when you're on the road driving. Alternator dies out, So, but this situation, that's not the situation at all. But checking that battery, putting cables on the battery. If it was an alternator, it would have turned on. And then once you take the cables off, it would have died out immediately, and that would be an alternator situation. But this thing didn't kick on at all. So so right now, it's not the alternator, not the battery. What else could it be? So I'm like, I'm hoping it's not the starter. I'm really hoping it's not the starter because I had that starter replaced about a year ago, close to about a year ago. I had that replaced, had the same situation come up. So I'm like, I'm putting that starter aside, putting that starter situation aside. I'm hoping that it's the last thing I'm going to think about. I'm going to think about other things, see if I can figure this out. So what else could it be besides, ruling those couple of things out? And I'm like, okay, so it could be a fuse or a relay, right? A fuse or a relay. So I'm like, is it a relay? Is it the relay that's causing it? So, you know, I thought about it. I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm turning, you know, every time, you know, I'm trying to crank the car up, I do hear a click. So normally that click, you know, is what you're hearing with the solenoid on the starter. You know, it clicks when there's electricity going through there, and if it works normally, you know, the motor turns and stuff. But I mean, just hearing that click makes me suspect that it's not the relay, considering the relay relays the electricity from you know, once you know, it's from the ignition to, you know, the wires from the ignition to the relay to the starter. And since it's, you know, this situation, you know, it's not the relay, because I'm hearing the click, meaning that, you know, the relay is sending electricity to the starter. So that's ruled out. It's not the battery, it's not the alternator. I'm pretty sure, 99% sure it's not the relay. So I'm like, all right, so there's two things left. As far as I could think of, there's two other things that I could actually troubleshoot. One of them I could troubleshoot. The other one I'm going to take a guess as the last thing that could be causing it. But okay, if it's not the relay, maybe it's the fuse. Could it be the fuse that's causing it? I don't think it's the fuse right now. I don't think it's the fuse, because I've had situations with fuses before, with no start situations, and the situations go like this. Well, the two that I've had was there was a blown fuse, a main fuse that connected the main fuse box to the battery, and that fuse blew, and I got nothing. You know, this was a couple years ago. Both these situations happened a couple years ago. I had nothing. Like, went to my car, try to turn it on. There's no lights on the dash. There's nothing on the battery. The blow motor doesn't blow. It's as if there was no connection to the battery. It is as if the battery was 100% dead. Once I changed that fuse out, everything worked as normally. But okay, so figure that's not the problem, because that's not the situation. The situation is everything works except the car is not cranking. It's not cranking at all. I'm not hearing a crank. So okay, that's not the situation. The other situation is, well, my personal, you know, with my personal experiences, this other situation, a fuse blew, and I was able to crank the car. It cranked. Everything worked. It cranked, but it wouldn't crank over. Meaning that it wouldn't turn all the way on. It wouldn't idle, etc., etc. It wouldn't turn on to idle and stuff. So I'm like, it keeps on cranking, but it dies out immediately. It keeps on cranking. You can hear the starter cranking. It dies out immediately. So at that point, you know, knowing what I know that that's not the issue here, obviously, because there's no cranking at all. Everything else works. There's no cranking at all. So I don't think that's the problem. I don't think that's the problem. I mean, not that I actually did check the fuse box. I actually don't have a fuse tester on me to check it, but I don't think that's the issue. So, unfortunately, I'm thinking right now that it's the starter. Now, the starter I bought was a rebuilt starter from AutoZone, and I've heard about these situations with rebuilt starters, saying that a lot of these rebuilt starters have been, you know, when they rebuild these starters, they only rebuild the part that's broken. I mean, I could have gotten a brand new starter, but I didn't want to pay twice the amount for it, and even then you wouldn't know. Probably should have just bought a starter from eBay and put it in. But had this a year ago, and right now I'm sitting here waiting for a tow truck to tow my car. You know, I called AAA up already, and it's going to take an hour for them to come to tow my car. And I guess I could try to get the starter to turn on by bumping it, or you know, trying to test it out by connecting a wire to the starter, a positive to the starter. But I'm not going to do that right now, because it's a little bit chilly today, and I don't have the wires or anything like that to do that, and I don't have a long crowbar to bump it. So right now I'm sitting here waiting for AAA to come to tow my car so that I could get this resolved, which really sucks. But I'm gonna keep you guys updated. All right, guys. So obviously it was the starter, which was what I suspected. It was the starter. Really disappointed because I had to shell out some time and money to put in the starter, another starter. Now that starter was warranted by AutoZone. I don't know whether it was for a year or forever. I don't know, like a year or 2 years or whatever the warranty was, but they gave me another free starter. But that doesn't price in the cost of time to me, the cost of the labor that was put in, the price of the labor that I spent to put a new starter in, which kind of sucks, and they didn't give me a brand new starter. They gave me a rebuilt starter, same as before. So I mean, I had, if I had another choice, I would have just bought one from eBay, to be honest with you. But my car is working fine today. It starts up without a problem, man, hopefully this starter lasts me longer than this one that died out on me last night. But all right, guys, thanks for listening. If you guys have a comment, please leave a comment. Please give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe, guys. All right, take care.